What if the secret to perfect parenting was admitting that none of us have a clue?
The truth, we're two real moms figuring it out in real time and keeping it real along the way.
Each episode, we're calling BS on perfection and bringing you raw combos with parents and professionals who aren't afraid to go there.
Because what if the real parenting hack was dropping truth bombs instead of pretending like we got it all together? Let's get into it.
Hey guys, welcome back to Truth Moms. We are in, what episode is this?
This is for our fifth season.
Episode 4, season 5. It's crazy to say season 5 for sure. I feel like we've, how many years have we been doing this? 2?
No,
Oh no, 1? 2?
1.5.
Okay, we're almost at the 2-year anniversary. I was like, we passed it. This reminds me of when I actually like did that when I just did the zoo run and I missed the 2nd mile marker. So the whole time I'm thinking I'm like trying to get to the 2nd mile marker and I'm like losing my mind with because I was holding Lenny like the whole time and I was breastfeeding her halfway through, like running and breastfeeding at the same time. And and for whatever reason, when I picked her up, I didn't see the thing. And so I'm like, where's the 2 mile marker? I was dying. I was like, where's the 2 mile marker? Surely the 2 mile marker. And so at that moment, I see the 3 mile marker and I was like, oh, the end is near. But that's where I'm at right now. I'm like, we're almost at the 2-year mark. I didn't know we passed the 1-year mark.
Yeah, we talked about it on the. This is how it happens all the time, Khara.
You know what?
I'm like, we literally talked about it twice on the podcast. Where
It's
I'm like
multitasking moms at the finest.
Yeah,
No.
we are. I'm. You know what?
November
I will not
13th.
I will be working my brain for memory for the rest of my life. That's for sure. But anyway, what I do remember is that today's a very special day because this is the first interview podcast we have at the studio. The sound is working.
yes,
Because we have to make that caveat because we did try to have a guest one time and then it wasn't working, but we got through all of our like errors.
yes,
And we feel good about this. And so I'm also excited because this is not only a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, but we have a separate project together as well called Strawberry Road. So I want to interview. I want to introduce my friend Khara there's so many things from Drugs on Sunday, Strawberry Road, vinyl pinups, Khara just herself as a mom and a beautiful friend of mine. And we've been friends since River.
4 years.
4 years.
Isn't that crazy?
We were pregnant together. And so this is a very special episode of Play Date and Tell because we wanted to get into not only all things of what a working mom does, but specifically, we're in the month of April. And the month of April is Autism Awareness Month. And so I thought what better to mesh my worlds together is during this one, because I like to self-promote. Of course I do. So we're promoting Truth Moms and Strawberry Road because we have new music out. By the time you hear this, there'll be a couple of songs out. The YouTube channel is beefing up with different things that we're doing as far as kind of taking a more intricate route of not just showing and playing and giving an example of what it is to be a good friend or a learning experience, but also in a outdoor experience. We took this time to really look at places that all kids can enjoy to be. And so it's a really cool project. We love Strawberry Road, but I think I love Khara more because of what Strawberry Road really means. So Khara, tell us about you.
Hi, I'm Khara. I am so excited to be here because I have not done a podcast in a little bit. So of course I've been momming and doing all the things like moms do, juggling it all, but it's a very special day for me to be out in the world. So yeah.
I know. And she looks so great.
she looks so good.
She walked out and I was like, wow, you were so dressed up. I was like, man, I'm glad I put like some makeup on today. I did, I'm like, oh my God. 'Cause sometimes I just schlep it,
Girl, yesterday you should have seen the jammies. It's all good. It's like, you never know which day it's going to be. That's like the vibe.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But, so Khara and I started so our husbands were friends, or our friends are very good friends. And we were pregnant with Liv and Riv, who have become this
I didn't
super
even put
duo.
that together until you just said that.
I know. It's crazy, right?
Yeah. Liv, Margot, and they both have M middle names. So it's LM and RM.
And we didn't know that
No.
going in. I didn't even know her name was going to be River. I had no clue until like almost the very end.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll be like, hey, want to have a Riv and Liv day? And this is so funny because even with Easton too, it's this is why I think we have an episode called Finding Your Tribe. And I think that what has worked out, all of the things I said in that episode, we probably should link it, have come true and have come to light. All the people that I have really surrounded myself with. I watch my child have such a love for those. What is happening?
Ooh, I love it.
Whoa.
You sound pretty
Sounds
cool.
like you're on a different planet because you're a mom and you can do anything.
Yeah, I went interstellar there.
There you are.
See, I'm not even touching it. It's
No,
just-
the board's having a fun day. Must be the weather.
I'm just not having the best luck when it comes to technology.
It must be Mercury must be in retrograde.
No, it's not. I looked it up.
Oh, well,
I thought for sure it was. I thought for sure. The car wouldn't start.
Maybe the
similar.
magnets, maybe the poles or whatever, because it's like the new season and the equinox and all that stuff.
Or it could be the geo seed, or what is it called? Cloud seeding.
Oh, yeah,
There was like a lot of it.
Talk nerdy to me.
We are all the same.
Nerdy
We were over their house the other day for a play date, and she was like, looks like they're cloud seeding. We'll probably have a big storm tomorrow. And I was like, ooh, I forgot how good of a friend you really are.
And did it rain?
And did it did rain.
Yes,
It did. But anyway, so the whole thing is that it's just been a beautiful journey to see, like, not only like my friendships flourish and how we built, different businesses together. Like, it really is, I'm in between two of my biggest worlds right now, but also how our children interact and how much they love each other. Like, even when they were going through their phases, like both of us were like, oh, it's okay, because they're so close in age. They were kind of going through their phases at the same time.
Like the hitting phase.
Yeah. Or like, we're
Yes.
just like the crying and but then they're together, and not only are they developing together, but like we're developing as moms together. And it's a very beautiful thing. It's also really beautiful because we're all on the same page of what we feed our children and what we introduce
Absolutely.
them to and how we teach them to be together. And the other beautiful thing about my relationship with Khara specifically is, she has Rhodes, and it is a beautiful introduction for River, because obviously Liv is her brother, or her brother and sister, and so Liv will understand how to be kind from the get-go.
Right.
But also River, who comes in and she sees that dynamic, and now she gets to walk through life. Like my hope is with her being such good, because like Rhodes loves her, which is like, it's so wonderful to see the three of them outside, and like they just interact so well, and she loves him so hard. And so I can watch that empathy really build.
Absolutely.
And I know, and that's why Strawberry Road's such a great project of ours, because that's the whole point of, you're living in a world that has neurodivergent and neurotypical children.
1 in 31, right?
1 in 31.
It's happening.
There's no escaping that everybody is so different, and that we have to make a way to work together and not ostracize or isolate children. So it's very easy for Riv and Liv, because they're so close in age and they love each other so much, to just kind of go off and do their own thing. But then to watch Rhodes kind of enter that system, and they're like, okay, they're jumping around.
It's normalized,
it's
which
so
is
normal.
the whole point.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. And and also for Rhodes, he in a way, it helps him not be as anxious, maybe, because he's like, okay,
People understand me even if I'm slightly different.
Right.
And it's a really, really great
and this is
thing.
the judgment-free zone. There's nobody judging me. Nobody is running away from me. Nobody's isolating me. It's a place for questions. Khara's really great about that. Like, if, River comes to the age of being like, why doesn't Rhodes talk as much? Like, Khara is that friend, is that autism mama that's going to be like, let's talk
break
about
it down.
Right.
Let's talk about it. Let's normalize it. Let's not make it awkward.
Right.
It's awkward when we don't ask.
Right.
That's the main thing. And it's isolating.
Right.
So I love that we're like training and teaching them, and it's happening organically without being super preachy, which is kind of like the main premise of Strawberry Road.
Right.
Really.
Right. And then my favorite part about all this is watching Khara have two totally different experiences of children, based on what she's had to go through with Rhodes. And we'll get into that in a second. But also this like new blossoming phase. I don't know if it's the therapy or if it's the Liv or Riv and Liv, or it's the both, but I watch her kind of re-experience this and just have like the coolest, most beautiful moments.
I have chills.
Yeah.
It's
Like we went to the zoo the other day.
look, okay, I'm going to cry all episode long. Like you know what I mean? Yeah.
It's a safe place.
No, I have a video. I'm gonna if she'll let me post it. We did a video the other day. I took a video of it. We were at the zoo with the girls, and they wanted to get their face painted. And I was like, okay, it's just strange and random, because River never she's like, Mom, I want to get my face paint.
And Liv had
was-
never had hers painted before. She hasn't even had her hair trimmed yet. She's been very nervous about it. So this is a big deal.
Yeah. So they go up together and they get their little faces painted. And I see her just like tearing up and she's like, I did not get to experience this with Rhodes because of his sensory issues. That's just not something he would have wanted to do.
Right. Right.
Or if he had, he wouldn't have been able to vocalize that or verbalize it. So I would have never known.
Right.
Right. And I'm watching her just like, it gets it, like just experience this. And then also it brings her back to remembering like just being present with Rhodes. I think that this is something we had an interview a couple of weeks before. And that was the one thing that and the reason why I was like, let's talk about it here, because she really got into the fact of like first baby, you're in a place where there's no family and no real support. And I'm sitting here talking about like, oh, I love the support. I love that all our mamas are together. And I listened to her speaking to this other podcast that we had done where she was like, I didn't have that the first round. So it's not just that Rhodes was diagnosed with autism. It's not that he just maybe had different needs and, vocalizations of, it's also the fact that she was living in a different place, right? She was so focused on how do we make sure that he has the best possible life? What different, we're going to get into in a minute, like what different programs does he have to be in? Like, how do we manage the day to day? How do we keep a routine, but also expose him to new things? Because autism's really built around routine. And even now, like when the girls were at the park, and I'm not saying like I don't pay attention to my kids, but I am not a helicopter mom by any means. And she was like, I'm a helicopter mom. I've had to be a helicopter mom.
Yeah.
And so kind of like breaking that chain, but let's first talk about Rhodes. First off, like, and again, like outside of autism, like who is Rhodes? And let's just talk about your first time mom experience and like what Rhodes represents in your life.
Well, I love that you say, who is Rhodes? Because it's a very, very beautiful question that honestly, people don't ever ask. And when you have that diagnosis, it's immediately attached to their identity. And I have been so careful on this journey of being like, Rhodes has autism, but Rhodes isn't autism. And that is so important. So Rhodes is an almost 10-year-old little boy, blonde hair, blue eyes, freckly nose, so cute.
So cool.
So cool. I will never be as cool as him. Never. He is so kind. He has this essence about him that flows through this life that is in like a very like magnetic feel to him. And I know that he understands everything we're saying. He might not be able to express everything verbally, but he is literally an angel. And he has such a vibe about him that everybody loves him. And he loves people and he loves to go on adventures. He loves the beach, the ocean. He loves the mountains. He's always like, where can we go? Can we go do something? He wants to live life to the fullest.
Yeah.
So that's Rhodes.
You guys were just,
so
they were
cool.
just on a trip, right? With
Daddy and Rhodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the two, they went on like a guy's trip. He wanted to go to the beach and he had just been in like January and he was like, I need to go to the beach. Like he thrives on the waves. And I think that literally he could be a surfer if he wanted to, or learn how to do the mountain climb. He's just very into all those things.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So they went, they had so much fun.
He sends a picture and Rhodes is just he just has this like super soft smile on his face. He's just like, and he's like, Brendan was like, he's in his element. Like he's always meant to be here. Whatever this is, like we got to make sure he gets this all the time.
For sure.
He is like the coolest little surfer kid.
He loves it so much. They had the best time. Yeah.
It's definitely his happy place.
Oh yeah.
I can relate.
I can too, right? I love it.
Yeah.
I take the beach over the mountains for sure.
Same.
Oh
same.
yeah. 100%.
But okay, so let's talk about, because Rhodes is almost 10 now.
Yeah.
And what is he in? So he's into the sun. What else is he into? Like what are the things that makes him the happiest?
He literally loves to swim. He could be in the water all day long. And we just really, I want to say one thing, we're really grateful for the Nashville Dolphins because they taught him how to swim over the course of a few years. They were really, really good at that. And they're a nonprofit here in Nashville, and they have like 300 people on their wait list. So they literally got him in. They've been super patient. It's just been a really, really great blessing to him.
Yeah.
But he literally could live in the water all summer long. Trampoline. He loves art.
Yeah.
He just had his work featured at the Frist.
Oh, that's
in
amazing.
Nashville.
Yeah, and it wasn't autism focused at all. It was just art.
Which they are really, really autism focused.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But this had nothing. Like this was
nothing
just
to
like
do
they
with it.
submitted art. They didn't know who Rhodes was from Adam, and they just were like, "This is beautiful art."
It was a really
awesome.
cool moment. You know, we were so proud of him, and we went and we told him on the way. It was just the three of us. We did like the Three Musketeers, Mommy and Daddy and Rhodes, and he was like, we were like, Rhodes, we're going to go to the big art museum. Your work is on the wall. And he just looked at me and he went, the big museum? And I was like, yeah. First, we got to go get coffee. So we got him a little decaf.
First coffee.
The first coffee. He wanted his little decaf and his little croissant. And so we just had the best time. And it felt really cool, like back in the old days. Like, love having a family of 4, but like those early days of the 3 of us, it just has such a combination of like hopefulness and heartache. And so when we get to relive those, the 3 of us together, it just like gets my mama heart. We had the best day. So art, movement, music, instruments, all the things.
And that's really why Roads is the heart of Strawberry Road. So we say road is in like the road, but road is actually like a little.
I did not put that together.
So
Strawberry Road.
Yeah. So the girls loved it. Obviously, every child loves music, but music in general is something very special. Music and movement. And so we went to Strawberry Field.
Yeah.
And we were just running around and she was talking about like, I don't know what the next step is. Like, we're at this point where Rhodes is independent and like it doesn't feel as like the hardship is not there anymore, right? He's like really coming into his own. I feel like I have more space to add something new, but I don't know what that is. She had just started a nonprofit and the nonprofit was doing really well. And she had this amazing event. And I was like, but you are an artist, like, and like, we'll get into this in a minute. Like
I was separating the two for so long. And Brittany was like, what are you doing?
Like all together.
Hello.
Yeah. And honestly, like Khara is one of the best songwriters I've ever met. Like I know we were in Nashville and like that's like an easy thing to say, but I swear I'll be like, hey, because she's like, we do the creative process together, but really I'm just like, hey, what about this kind of song? She goes, I got it. And then like 20 minutes, she's like, what do you think about this tune? I'm like, what?
I'm
over
like,
Taylor Swift.
I know. She's like, so
here we come.
And then Brennan, I think that the best thing about this too is that like Brennan is her husband is a producer. And so they obviously started out as a band together and they still have that vinyl pinups, but Brennan through his projects can like she can walk into the room and be like, hey, next Thursday, we need to put time aside for us to do Strawberry Road stuff. And they just get it done. Like they're just, and the music, it comes out so great and so beautiful. And then we were like, well, she's like, I want to make this a give back. I've always thought about giving back, right? Because as we talk about her autism journey, it can be isolating and it can be, you're on your road because you're literally taking care of your child and making sure that they have every chance at life. And sometimes you do forget where the joy is. Mm-hmm. And she was like, I don't want to forget that. Like, I don't want to just do songs. Like, I want to do something where we can bring joy in. And then we were like, the girls were watching something and she was like, what about a YouTube channel? And I was like, oh, kids music is great.
Huge.
Like, she was like, well, I just did one because she did Quay Quay online. They had just done this Tony's thing.
Yeah.
And we were like, whoa, it was like all starting to swirl. And it was all around the girls at the Strawberry Field. So we come home, we're playing around, we're playing with her around the idea, like, what would that look like? What would that be? And she was like, it should be strawberry something because we just thought about this at the Strawberry Field. And I was like, well, what about road? And she was like roads? And I was like, like roads.
Light
yes,
bulb
Strawberry
moment.
Just like
Road.
jump up and down.
We did jump up and down. We were like,
we figured it out.
And
but wait, let's go change a diaper really quick.
Yeah. But that's also a testament because even with us, right? Like when we first started, we were like, hey, how do we do this? This is awesome. And it's a slow burn because one, we're all working moms. Like we're all doing our things with all of our kids. We have husbands who have full-time, jobs. We have new babies or babies that, might need, like Rose was still going through, has therapy and stuff like that. And she's like, I have this schedule. So it has been a slow burn, but it's been a beautiful burn because like we, the idea came up and then it was like, let's build the songs. And then it was like, let's build the YouTube channel. And now we're like, how do we take it to the next step further? And it's just been a beautiful road to watch her take that, like go to these interviews and like now these events. And we've got our first concert coming up.
Yeah, we do.
And all
it's
of that
fun to build something from completely nothing.
Yeah,
it is.
It's like so rewarding. You're like, what?
But I think the best
Because you look back and it's like, oh, it was an idea and now it's actually happening.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
But I think the best part about it is it's passionate because like when we started Truth Moms, it stemmed from a space of like, we have all these feelings and we don't know how to talk about it. And maybe other people feel the same way. This is not any different. Like we have all these feelings. We love all these children. How do we make a much more inclusive space? And even crazier, when we started to do research, there isn't any anybody doing that, right? Like
No.
there might be like, hey, let's all play together, right? Like so there's Sesame Streets and Blippies of the world.
Like one
and
episode, like one off.
Feature,
Yes.
highlight,
Yes.
right.
and not the main focus, or
Right.
not this is our niche. This is what people know to go to for this.
Right.
They're tried and true.
Right. And when we started to break open that coconut, like there are so many people, like we had talked about like doing ads on something, and it just within an instant of talking to them like, hey, we don't really have the money right now, but like this is what we're doing. We're gonna try, we'll come back later. They wouldn't let us off the phone. And they were like, you know what? Let's just pivot to something like, how about we do a feature on our magazine instead? You know, hey, how about you come to do an event? Or hey, how about you like send us speak? Or how about you send us something? You know, like can we share with our team? And it's so organic how quickly people buy in. So it might be like 10 followers, but those 10 followers are lifers. And it's really cool to see what passion does. You know, it's not just this like quick blip, a viral moment. It's much more like there's the heart. It's the heart of the matter.
You're rooting.
Absolutely.
You're rooting into like the community.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But let's go all the way back though, of like why we got to this road. You know, what was that like early on? So Rhodes is diagnosed.
Yeah.
And at 2.
Right around 2, like 2 and some change.
And you guys where were you when this all happened? You were in California still.
We were in Nashville, thankfully.
Oh, you were in Nashville.
Yes.
Okay.
So we were at Vanderbilt when they diagnosed him. And that was the hardest day of my life. I think we sat in the parking lot, and I literally, with my son in the back seat, Brennan, my husband, and I in the front seat, we walk out and we just get in the car, and I put him in his car seat, and I just start sobbing in the front seat with my perfect child in the back seat. Has no idea that he was just diagnosed with autism. You know what I'm saying? Like who could know it too?
Right.
But that dynamic of I walked in with this perfect child and I walked out with this perfect child. The only difference was a diagnosis, but it was like life altering as a new mom. And I had no idea what I was supposed to do. I just knew literally that second I had to hit the ground running. And when you have a 2-year-old, you're still in the trenches. They're still like, they're little, and you're a new mom. I'll never forget that day. And Brennan just was stunned. Like he just was sitting there completely shocked. I was just coming apart because the whole like process of getting diagnosed is also very traumatic.
Yeah.
You're in a room and it's very clinical, and there's somebody like doing little, like asking them questions or like showing examples of how they quote should be playing or should be doing things. And then if they don't do them the quote right way, it like adds up on the board of scoring wise.
Are you watching the score kind of like happen? Are they
No.
doing it? So
They're writing it down.
But this is over the course of hours too.
This is like a 2-hour process.
So your mind is like, what is happening? Like the entire time, just like, what are they writing down? Where is this going?
Yeah.
You're questioning everything that he's doing. Like just your mind's going.
Right. He's also 2, by the way.
He's also 2.
So if he needed a nappy change or like he was tired, none of that mattered.
We would stop for a snack, and it was just very like a little like rablat,
Yeah.
lab rat. See, my brain's already getting anxious.
good.
I'm like saying words backwards. But the hardest moment from that was when they were trying to get him to do certain things and interact with me. That literally messed me up because they would be like, okay, look at your mom and like do this or whatever. And he wouldn't. And in that moment, I was like, oh, so that's not normal. It was all unraveling in like real time. It's a very, very traumatic experience. And if you've been through it and if you've lived it, you will feel that feeling your whole entire life, no matter how much.
Right. Because the doctors are not showing emotion to you at all, right?
Not at all.
This is the same. This reminds me of when you did your ultrasound. And when she was going through her miscarriage, and they were not.
girl.
I mean, obviously there are moments, right? They kind of have to be in this moment, but you're not prepped for that because you are a happy, empathetic human, and you're like, somebody say something.
Yes.
Is everything cool?
Oh,
Are we
I'm
good?
unraveling. Like,
Of course you are.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So, okay. So that is like super. And by the way, so this is over 2 hours. You're at the hospital, and then they just come in and they're like, "Hey, he's got autism."
Then you wait 20 or 30 minutes while they're scoring. Your child's still playing, and you're like trying to just wait. And then they come in, and then they tell you whether or not they score on the ADOF's like schedule or whatever it's called. And he did. And that was a really challenging day. But the very beginning of all this was really, it was just speech delay for Rhodes primarily. He didn't show any other signs of autism. He didn't even do any stimming or anything. He was a really happy, sweet child who could play well by himself, but he would do a lot of great things and was really, I was focusing on all the things he could do, not the things that he couldn't do, but that's just
Which is
me.
weird. That's a mom thing.
Well,
right?
and you're like, oh, he's unique.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh,
He's himself.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
But it was crazy because it was like his body was allowing itself to do what he wanted to do. The second he got diagnosed, you guys, he like started stimming, like within like 2 weeks. It was crazy. He would like flap his hands when he got excited, which is a part of stimming is like a part of autism where it's not a bad thing. It's actually their body's way of just releasing the happy energy.
Yeah.
Kind of cute, like little penguins. Like
Yeah.
if you're thinking about like happy feet where they like prance around.
Yeah.
That was what he looked like.
Yeah.
He was like a cute little, like two little,
Aw.
just like he would get excited and watch YouTube videos and be like, and like go, we call it the little penguin.
Aw.
But it happened after he was diagnosed. And then we started noticing like, okay, speech isn't developing at the right quote like level it should be. And so after that, it was like boots on the ground, let's go.
Right.
And very isolating, terrifying. And I was like laser focused.
Right.
You know?
And then also one thing I didn't realize and this is like kind of the crazy thing of like living vicariously through our friendship is learning so much. So I don't know if this is just Tennessee or if this is everywhere, but once you're diagnosed, programs are impossible to get into, right? You said it was like a year wait to get any type of like real program for him outside of what you were doing as a
or
parent.
even getting diagnosed. So some of these programs were 6 months of a wait list to even get diagnosed because the rise of autism is happening.
Right.
Thankfully, we had like a 4-month wait list, but I mean, others take longer. And then programs, all of the things. Some of the ABA centers take 6 months. Some of them are a year. It's crazy.
So you're kind of on this ad hoc, like, how do I help my child in lieu of this diagnosis? And then once I get this diagnosis, how do I help my child while I'm waiting for professional help, right?
You're immediately told like crazy news, and then you're like, hurry up and wait. So as a parent, you're doing all these things on your own. You're immediately going from being a new parent to having to be a speech therapist, an occupational therapist, a mind reader. You know, if your child is minimally
Like an
verbal,
autism homeschool kind of thing.
immediately, and you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it was wild,
Yeah.
very crazy.
And then there isn't a community, right? Because one thing Khara told me, so we did like a deep dive because we were like, let's expose some things for early parenthood, like get real on Strawberry Road. So not just always this joyful moment, but being like, hey, we see you in these like tougher moments. Like she's been there, you know, like this is, you know, we're here for you. And one of those deep dives was watching that, was it ABA therapy itself, right?
Yes.
And what I didn't realize, she said, she was like, you can't talk to any of the other parents. Like there isn't, it's so clinical that they need to isolate each child.
HIPAA prevents you from having any phone numbers, emails. You don't even know. Like you're literally dropping your child off, and then you don't have a community. You have this community without the community, if that makes any sense. There's no outside access. It is so
You
clinical.
basically, if anything, you have to like meet them out in the parking lot and like, just be like, hey, like, do you want to get together?
Absolutely. Which
Is
you
what
know,
you do?
I did.
Right. Because you guys are both those people. Like, you're both very like, hi, hello, how are you? Let's be friends. You know, I'm like, someone like me who's not good at that, I can imagine that being even more isolating because you're like, you'd be drowning. I'd be drowning because I would be like, how do I talk to somebody, or what do I do? Or how do I, you know, manage this? And you guys, you both are really beautiful at like, I'm going to move forward. I don't care how I move the needle, but I'm moving the needle. And so you built that community for yourself.
I don't know how I did. Looking back, I'm like, what in the actual? Like it was like copious amounts of caffeine, no sleep, because children that have autism, literally sleep is such a problem. Their bodies don't know how to regulate. They don't know how to do any of that. So it was a crazy time for sure, full of isolation and new moments of trying to figure it all out.
But you're just so desperate to just have some kind of connection to be like, somebody, I need to talk to somebody that's going through this, that you're probably just like, please, like, let's have one conversation. You don't have to even exchange numbers. Let's just have that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Mama, real quick before we keep going, if you've ever thought, why isn't this diet working for me? Or why do I always feel tired even when I'm doing everything right? It could come down to your genetics. That's why we love MaxGen Labs. Their at-home genetic tests help you understand how your body works, like how you process food, how you detox, what vitamins you actually need, and even your fitness tendencies. It takes all of the guesswork and helps you make choices that actually fit your body. And here's the best part. Just for being a Truth Moms listener, you get 10% off any test. Just head to maxgenlabs.com/truthmoms for 10% off. That's maxgenlabs.com/truthmoms, and you'll get 10% off your order today. Because knowing your body is the first step to feeling your best. All right, back to the show. This episode is brought to you by Needed, a brand I genuinely love and have actually been using for about 2 years now, during my trying to conceive journey and now throughout pregnancy, including over a year before they ever reached out to partner with us. One of the things I appreciate most about Needed is that their supplements are formulated based on what women actually need nutritionally, especially during fertility, pregnancy, and postpartum. A lot of prenatals on the market are underdosed or missing key nutrients. For example, many prenatals don't include enough choline, which is really important for baby's brain and nervous system development. Good news is that Needed recently reformulated their multi-essentials prenatal and actually increased the amount of choline from 150 milligrams to 200 milligrams, which is amazing to see because it's such an essential nutrient that's often overlooked. Right now, I'm taking the reformulated multi-essentials prenatal, but I also love their collagen protein. It is such an easy way to get extra protein in, and the collagen supports things like skin, joints, and tissue support during pregnancy and postpartum recovery. I also just went ahead and ordered their iron support because I naturally tend to run a little low on iron, especially towards the end of pregnancy, and I want my levels to be strong going into postpartum because we all know that little baby just sucks the life out of us, right? And I love that theirs is formulated to be highly absorbable, which is really hard to find, and super gentle, which is also really hard to find. What's really cool about Needed is that they support women through every stage of the mother span, not just pregnancy. They have products for general women's health, cycle support, trying to conceive, pregnancy, postpartum, and even perimenopause. If you want to check them out, go to thisisneeded.com and use the code TruthMoms, that's TRUTHMOMS, for 20% off your order.
So let's walk through that middle stage, right? Like you have the diagnosis. He's probably like 5 or 6. Because how old was he when we got pregnant?
6, actually.
So he just turned 6.
No, he was like 5.5. So right around that time when we met.
Right. So what was that like? Like moving, you're like, I'm going to move into a second stage of parenthood, having 2 babies. Like what was that like for you?
Well, it definitely wasn't easy because the chances of somebody having a child with autism are higher after they've had a child with autism. So for us, we were a little hesitant to try again. Mm-hmm. We knew our family wasn't done. We had that in the mind, on the back of our minds, in the back burner. But they're 5.5 years apart. Like we did not stack it. We were in the trenches. We were doing speech, occupational, ABA. He kind of got into a really good rhythm at an ABA center. We were really, really careful with which center we chose because there is some kind of, there are some places that are a little more strict and with your kiddos. And I'll just leave it at that. But like we were very, very adamant about who we chose, who we trusted. And we heard through the grapevine that the place we chose was really awesome. Autism ETC out by the airport, they were life-changing for Rhodes, and they were super incredible. They had smaller classroom settings where it was one-on-one, and then they would have a bigger classroom to get him prepped for if he was able to do like regular school, which we've always known that he has the potential, and we've always pushed for that. But so I say all that because as he kind of grew and he was doing better with the ABA and all that stuff, we did decide that we were going to try. And if it happened, it happened. And if it didn't, that was fine. We would just be a family of 3. And it did happen. And it was scary. You know, you're just scared, you know, whether or not your second child was going to also have autism. And I was thinking, is that risk worth it? Is the risk of having 2 kiddos starting all over from like day 1? If another child gets diagnosed with autism, I have to relive that again. It was a very brave moment for me and Brennan to say, you know what? we're not going to go step into this with fear. We're going to just trust. We have this feeling in our gut that this is not going to be the same rodeo. And we had our precious little baby girl, and she's fine. And it's been a really beautiful journey. To feel like the way it's supposed to feel. If that doesn't take away from how much I love my son, but the journeys have been so different. And this has been, she was born in the spring, and it was like a breath of fresh air, and she has loved on her brother so much.
And she protects him, which is the best.
She loves
him so hard.
Yeah. She's like, he needs his blanket and his elephant and his crescent, his loveys. Like, I'm going to go find them and bring him to him every morning. She's just 4, and she knows. He loves her. It's been amazing.
Did you put her into any kind of like prep for that? Because I know my my nephew actually has a rare disorder, and they have the other kids in like a prep class to kind of like help with, you know, helping their sibling.
That is so smart. I know that there are a ton of those out there and available to families. We actually just got a couple of really cute books talking about, my older brother has autism. And so we've been really good about reading those with her. But we kind of did that within the last year and a half, just because we didn't want it to feel so different. We wanted it to kind of naturally run its course, right? And then as she kind of started asking questions, it was a little bit more like, well, why isn't he answering me? Or, you know, just really concerned. We started reading those books, and it's been so great. And she'll say, Rhodes has autism, and that's okay. Aww. He's okay. It's like, it's super sweet. And she'll even say to me, like, does that kid have autism? He's really quiet. And I'm like, well, not everybody that's quiet has autism. So it's a really good opportunity for questions, normalizing. But we definitely read to her, and she loves learning about that.
And I think that's the point of the story that I'm hearing too, is like, it is totally okay. Kids are curious, right? They all they know is that one thing looks black and one thing looks white, and they're not sure about it, right? And so to ask the encouragement of asking questions, it's okay in this kid's realm. It's even more okay to, like, as a parent, be like, hey, how do I support, like, you know, I want us to be friends, and I want our kids to be like, what are things that I need to know? You know, like, maybe don't, like with Rhodes, I'm like, for the wedding, I'm like, Rhodes is coming. Like, he's gonna be at my wedding. So I'm like, how do I make it friendly for him sensory wise? Like, I do not want an overwhelming experience for him, because not because I'm worried about it ruining my wedding, but because I'm worried about him, and I want him to be okay. Right. And in that same sense, it's like, it's so, I think the terrifying thing is we're always worried about offending somebody. But when you come at it with a big heart and you're like, hey, I want to be supportive, and I don't want to be exclusive, and I want our kiddos to play. How do I do this?
Not just acting like everything's okay and just kind of ignoring it. It's like, hey, like,
that's worse. Honestly, when you don't even ask, that means you don't care. If you avoid and you just completely act like it's not even like the elephant in the room, it's really hard. It's really hard.
Or you pull your kiddo away. So your kiddo's like, you know, like River's asking questions like, hey, maybe, like, she hasn't. And I it's been beautiful, because not that we're ignoring it. It's like River doesn't, she doesn't see it. She's like, this is Rhodes. He's my brother. Like, we're doing this, right? And when she does get to that age, we'll talk about it. But she just it's not affecting the play. And so she, like, I hear about it, I'm like, okay, so when she talks to me, the first thing I'm gonna be is like, hey, Khara, how do I approach this? But I feel like what we're gonna get into, like this playground situation where, like, kids just, like, the parents don't know how to do what to do. The kids are curious, and instead of opening a conversation and teaching something new, because this is going to be around, like, you know, like it or not, there are kids with autism that live in the world, and they just ostracize and isolate even further. They're like, let's not play on this playground anymore, or like, hey, let's not talk to that kid, or like, you know, or just kind of staring at Khara like she should have all the answers. Like, that
still am learning myself.
Yeah. And so I think that's the big thing, is like, what, like, it's okay. Like, that's the one song we have. It's okay. It's totally okay to be like, I don't know, because I'm not from that world, because I have not lived that life. I don't know how to operate. Like, can you help me? Because I want to make sure that I'm doing this correctly and I'm not hurting someone's feelings.
And that's the correct way. Like, asking for help, teach me how to do this. Like, because it's so much easier that way than not.
So say I'm at the playground and I can probably sense that maybe a kid has autism. What would be the right way to approach you and just not assume where it's offensive? Do you know what I mean?
Well, do you think that it's like, if it's seeming like the kid wants to play with your kid, or are you just like trying to teach inclusion for little?
Maybe
like,
both. Just like, like, you know, like not ignoring obviously that there's something that's a little bit different about them.
Right.
Like, how do I go about asking that? question?
That's a really good question because I have had to stop myself. I am such an open book that I know people have kiddos on the spectrum, and I'll just walk up and like give the kids a high five, and the parents will look at me and I'm like, "Hey buddy, oh, you're doing great." And they're like,
what?
And then the kid's like loves me. And then Rhodes is right there. And I'm like, look, Rhodes is cool like you too. And I just do that.
Yeah.
So that I have that in my back pocket because I have my child and I'm very comfortable.
Yes.
But as a mom, if you're trying to teach inclusion or
It's
if
not even that,
seems,
just, not leaving the elephant in the room. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, honestly, I would just like, if it feels right, not forced, walk up and be like, hey, what's your kiddo's name? And just strike up a conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
Even if it's a 2-second conversation before the kid elopes, like, I see you, mama, you're doing a great job.
yeah.
Right.
And that can go for any mom. That
Yeah.
can go for the mom with a newborn that's literally like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. Somebody sees me. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
It's amplified for a mama with a kid with special needs. And you might not even have to say like, oh, does your child have autism? It might then come up with a
Right,
parent. They
right.
might be like, oh yeah, thank you. I'm so tired. Like, we just got this diagnosis.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for like including me.
Or
That's
just
really
seeing
it.
me.
Yeah, that's what I feel like I hear
Yeah.
the most is like
Inclusion.
Yeah, like literally because
Or
River will
seeing
be
me.
right, right.
Yeah.
People will be at the playground and like River will play, and I've gotten this twice where it's like, hey, thanks for being so sweet to my child, and they offer then say like, by the way, they just got diagnosed with autism, and you know it's just really been like, and they will say that's the number one thing between that the parents that I've met this last podcast that we did, the overarching theme is that for the parent, which then it comes from the top down, for the parent to the child, it can be very isolating. And so all you want to do is be included.
Yeah.
Right.
Because here's the thing, like it even comes down to like birthday parties. Like a lot of people that have kids with autism, they don't even get birthday parties. They don't get invited. They hardly have a party for their child because they don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah.
There's so many variables that exclude that when you're including them, even in a conversation, it's like gold.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's not that it can be isolating, but it's the most isolating.
Yeah.
The most isolating thing I have ever experienced in my life. And I am very
Outgoing.
outgoing and I love helping people. I love being the friend. And I will say, like, I noticed that a lot of people like drop like flies after our diagnosis because I wasn't
did
the
say that.
one that
Sorry.
was able to pour in, you know?
Yeah.
And they didn't know how to be there for us. They were terrified. I think they were terrified. They were like, whoa, this is so much that they didn't ask. I had a couple of friends and great family members like do the part, help us out, just come over and be there. So I'm not saying that it was completely isolating, but you just notice like your tribe gets a lot smaller. So it's
because I
interesting.
think too, and Khara said this right, she was bawling. She's not mourning like her child, like she's not mourning that like Rhodes has autism. That's not what she was mourning the fact that he was going to be able to have a neurotypical childhood. And so I think too, it's like, just as, in the similarities of like a miscarriage and a diagnosis, it's like there is a period where mom or dad, both parents are there's a grieving process or just like, oh, this happened. I gotta work through this. I've got to talk through this. And some people in life can't handle that. And that's why I was like, it's very important to find the tribe, like find the people that'll go through the mud with you because I don't, I don't know what's going through her head unless I ask her, or I could just be like, you know what, she's gone through something. I'm just gonna leave her alone. In the meantime, that's the exact opposite thing that she wants.
Right.
But how do you know if you don't ask? Like just because it's not a part of your life or you don't have, just because you don't have empathy as in like you've not experienced it, does not mean that you should give up on the sympathy part. Like
1,000%.
we need to be there for our friends.
And I want to say this too, like people don't think about it when they aren't currently going through it. But if you think about 1 in 31, think about that. Maybe your child does not have autism, but what are the chances of your grandchild having autism?
Right.
Right.
That is some heavy shit to talk about. But literally, it's like telling people, teaching people now, it's going to be prevalent. It might happen to you. Maybe it's not today. Maybe it may never happen to you, but literally the world is changing and it's more prevalent now than it's ever been. And it's a very important thing for us to include our children who have differences. And I'm here for that. That's why I'm here.
So what lifestyle changes or like what's a typical day for Rhodes?
Well, he does go to school and I'm really proud of him
Yeah.
because he is in a typical classroom setting.
Okay.
He is with his peers. He is not in a special ed classroom. He does get pulled a couple of times a day for I don't know what subjects, but he gets pulled for a smaller classroom so that he can have more focused, quieter, centered moments. But he has come so far, and he is sitting down with his classmates for like 30-minute stretches, doing his work, literally like not stimming in those moments. He understands how to just do things with his peers. He's learning from his peers, which I think is so incredibly important.
Yes.
He's learning from his friend, and their friends are learning about him, and it's a beautiful
And this is public school.
This is public
But
school.
also that was a road. So I was around when that was a road. So here's the thing is that they moved into a different neighborhood. Like Khara moved from her dream home. This is the stuff that I think like what people don't hear is like the extreme
Shout it
sacrifice.
from the rooftops.
Yeah. But like
my house.
it's because she'll never complain as in like, oh, we had to do this. But like you think about it and you're like, they basically built their dream home. It was not in the neighborhood that was conducive for him to live the best life. And they were like, you know what? There is a neighborhood that is not my dream home. That is not like whatever, but it is the best area and the best chance for him. And we're going to make that move. And they moved. But the stories about that school, when they like lost him.
Yeah. The first school that and I'm going to leave them out. Yeah. The first school that we left everything for, we had heard great things about it. They were not great. And this really goes to show like the amount of people that care versus the ones that don't, or push your kids to the side and don't see their full potential. I was getting phone calls from the principal every day. He's like eloped. He's left. There are two of us on trying to keep him here and there, and he still left the building. And I'm like, if there are two of you on him, which he's never needed two people. Right. If there are two and he still is on the school playground by himself, somebody is not paying attention. Right. Somebody is not doing their job. And the things they were saying, they were talking about him like he was a monster. I had a literal I almost had a full-blown midlife crisis because we had left everything to move here for this beautiful school that was supposed to be great with like our kiddos. And it was a nightmare. It was so terrible. The second we were like, we're done. We were there for 2 weeks. I'm like, this is horrific. This is not my child. Whatever you're saying about him. At one point they said, our children don't need to be exposed to him. They said this. The principal
I would lose.
said this about my child.
Not going to be exposed to you.
I know, you're the monster.
Yeah.
We were like, all done. We're done. We went to a different school that we were actually zoned for, and his cousins go there. It's been amazing. He is amazing there. They're super patient with him, but also he's behaving because they're treating him like the human that he is.
Right.
And he has one aide, one person that, it's mostly to make sure he's doing the schedule. It's not that he's running away or eloping. Those days are beyond us, but he is guided throughout the day.
It's a routine.
Right.
It's a routine.
And I want to go back on that word behave because it kills me every time, even with my kiddos, because people have said to me like, oh, you have the wild child. I don't believe in the word behaving at this stage.
I would say thank you.
Don't
honestly. I actually kind of like when someone's like
that.
You're like your child's wild. I'm like, it's exactly how they're supposed to be.
That's
exactly how they're supposed to be.
Right. Especially if they're neurodivergent. Like there are different things. It could be the lighting. It could be the sound. And this comes down to like, again, in public school, we talked about this before, like teachers need to be a little bit more supported. There needs to be more programs that bring them into that because there is not a good or bad, right? Like behaviors are, I'm learning this biblically, behaviors are neutral. Like, if he maybe for whatever reason he needed fresh air. And because he cannot communicate that at that stage of his life,
he's frustrated.
He's frustrated, right? But how do you express that? How do you express that at any age until you know what frustration is? And so it just absolutely kills me when people say like, they're not behaving. Cause you're like, okay, like behavior to me is like, is my kid doing something dangerous to others?
Right.
And also when they're doing something dangerous, is it in response to something? Like if my kid's hitting somebody, is it because they got hit and they're defending themselves? Or did they just go over and just like randomly hit? Cause that's a totally different conversation.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Totally.
In the same way, like you're saying, like this eloping, which it's an autism term for like not running away, but like
running off, exploring.
Right.
Yeah.
So did he elope because he was overstimulated in that environment and they're not paying attention to him?
Or did he not know how to say, I need fresh air. I want to go take a break and play on the playground for 2 minutes, but he doesn't know how to say that.
Or the fact that they already told you that they don't want your kid exposed to other, like this kid can't be exposed to that kid. that makes me think that they were treating him bad to begin with.
Yeah. I think they were trying everything that they could to get him out because they can handle high functioning autism, and they can handle like lower because those kiddos, you know, a lot of them don't fight back or they just are sitting there.
You silo them.
Rhodes is right in the middle. He is right in the middle. And they were like, we don't really know what to do with someone who actually has an opinion. Oh, what do we do here?
But you have to think about it too. Like he's actually smarter than most neurotypical. Like, I'm like, oh, why? I have a headache. Probably should drink some water, but I won't drink some water. Yeah. I probably could use some fresh air. You know what I mean? He's just going and doing it. Like he's acting on pure like,
he has no, like when we're over at the house, he has no problem. He'll come right up to me and be like, I want that cookie. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk. Like it's not
Brittany's like, here's 30.
Yeah. I'm like, thanks.
What do you want, honey?
I want them all. Well, I'll tell you what, because one thing I do recognize in myself is that I want, like, there is nothing more precious to me. Like, cause my kids like fall asleep on me. There's nothing more precious than me than when a child feels safe with you. And so I was like, I will do anything for this kid to just know that like I'm in his corner. And I cry every time. Like the very first time he like sat in my lap and like gave me like, I love him so hard. And I just think about other kids in his life that are like him, that are neurodivergent, that maybe don't get that love. And it's like, there is nothing more important to me than like my friends' children and as well as my children, like feeling safe around me.
Well, he feels so safe with you. And that right there means more to me than you'll ever know. So
I love that. But, ooh, okay. That makes me cry.
All right, guys.
Sorry, Courtney.
You're totally fine.
She's like the pregnant girl in the room is
she
not
told
crying.
me about that story about that school. I was like, I'm going there. I'm knocking.
We ride at dawn.
We ride. And then,
where are the matches? Let's burn it down.
And then was it the Target or the Walmart story?
That's what I was going to say. Let me
it.
switch gears for a second, and I want you to talk about the Target story.
So we're going to go to the zoo.
I never heard it.
We're so super excited. It's me and both kids. We're going to Target to get some snacks beforehand. And because we always go to Target, hello, who doesn't go to Target? We go. I decided to do the self-checkout. So I'm having an issue. Like, I don't know if like my card's not reading. I don't know what's happening, but I needed the guy to help me. And I was like, hey, excuse me. Both kids are in the shopping cart. It's just easier to get in and get out. Yeah. We don't spend like extra $500 because they want 3 million snacks that we don't need.
They take up a lot of room.
So we're literally just sitting there waiting on him to walk over. I'm very calmly like, hey, I just need some assistance. So the 50-something male, too grown to know better, right? He knows he should have known better. Walks past the cart in between Rhodes and the checkout area. All Rhodes is doing is he's trying to reach the candy. They put candy there because kiddos want candy.
Right.
So he literally is just like pointing. And he's going, he couldn't say candy. He was like pointing and he's just like kind of touching the guy's shoulder. He's in his personal space. He's not hurting anybody. And while the guy is trying to figure out what's going on, I think the guy was frustrated. The employee was just like trying to figure out what's going on. That's elevating. Rhodes is trying to reach for the candy and he's just in his space. I kid you not.
Every time
I quote, he says, what the heck is wrong with him? He screams, what the heck is wrong with him in my son's face? My son doesn't even understand.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. By the way, he's what, 8?
He was 8 at the time. I can't believe I kept my composure, but I said at the top of my lungs, excuse me, my son has autism. He's just trying to reach for the candy. You owe him an apology right now. He turned completely white. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I had no idea. And I said, it doesn't matter if he has autism.
Or he doesn't.
You don't yell at someone else's kid.
No.
He's a child and you're a grown man.
Yeah.
I was fuming. I had to go to the zoo immediately afterwards because we promised that.
Right.
So I couldn't talk about it right away.
She's like digressing all of this.
All of this. So then later that day, I go back. I try to talk to the manager. People give me the runaround. Nobody is giving me any offering advice. They're not helping us out. Oh, we'll bring him back and we can have your son come into the room and he can apologize to your son in person. I said, they're not talking to my son ever again.
Yeah. She like digress. Like, so like after all of this, she posts online because this is what I think you don't realize is that she's holding it on to get you were meant to be Rhodes's mama for sure, because she has such a fiery like lion spirit. Like she will not back down.
I remember you just walking around in your backyard just like crying and on the phone.
Well, that's the second part of it is that she's so like she has to take on the advocating role. Like obviously everyone advocates for their children, but even more so when a child cannot defend themselves, like you just like that enraged like red that you just see, and you're like, I'm gonna do all these things. I'm gonna go back to Target. Like, by the way, she's had a full day now with all of her kids, right? Like she's like going through all this, has to go to the zoo, comes back, goes to Target. She gets back into her backyard and she just unloads. And that's when the tears come out. That's when you're just like, I am so mentally exhausted from having to save my children from people who just could just be friggin' nice. Like all you have to do is just be nice. Like we have this. I'm gonna sidebar the story to say that we have a child who has Down syndrome and on autism spectrum in our church, and I watched another woman be like, why bring your kid? And PJ thought it was to me. I knew it wasn't, because he kind of squawks during mass. Like, I will say, by the way, if you're a Catholic or just anybody, an hour for any child to sit down and behave is hard in general.
That's not
right?
even
like
I can't even barely sit down for an hour.
I can barely, like,
a woman,
right? And
right?
like and Catholic mass, you know, for many people who don't quite understand all the things, it is kind of boring. Like, you're there to be reverent in the Eucharist, but you're also there to bring your children. Like, they are not to be hidden away or whatever. So I watch these parents strategically like sit in different places in mass because they're trying not to bother other people. And so PJ and I went to mass by ourselves one day because I'd heard all this and I could see the mom so we were by ourselves without kiddos, and we intentionally sat behind them. And when we went to go do the Peace Be With You, I was like, by the way, my daughters love your son. Like, and she was like, oh my gosh, thank you. Like, what one little bit of kindness. And I think about that the weeks before when I'd heard this woman make this statement. Like, PJ was like, do not walk over there. Cause I was like, I'm going to walk over there and give her a piece of my mind and be like, what kind of fucking Christian are you to say, like, first off, who
Let
are
the
you?
Philly out. Let the Philly out.
Miss Negative Nancy, Miss Karen O meter. Like, who are you holier than thou bullshit coming into this church talking about how you want to be more like Jesus, and then talking about another mother with their child like
that needs this probably more than you.
Right.
That God created that child, honey. That
perfectly.
You know?
Yes,
right. And he
exactly.
is meant to be here. He is allowed to be here. Also, what a sacrifice those people are, because you to sit somewhere and to be with the Lord, and knowing that your child is going to need extra care and attention during that way, like, what a sacrifice that is. And then like this, you are with your children 24/7. You take them to experiences. You do not hide them away. Like, Rhodes does not live in a closet. He goes out and he has public school. He goes to great, literally, she's the most creative person I know. Like, she has the same thing as you. Like, oh, we have these little like doodah things we're building, you know, like she's like has all these like arts and crafts, but like they're always on a road trip somewhere. Like, they never hide him away. And you're like, he's allowed to experience life, bro. Like, every child is allowed to experience life. It doesn't matter.
Live.
Let them fucking live.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I'm just thinking about how that could have also been handled so much differently. Like,
Absolutely.
it's just like you could have taken that moment and be like, hey buddy, what's up? Like, what do you need? What do you want? Like, just embracing him instead of like.
You also walk around Target and they have these beautiful posters plastered of
inclusion
in wheelchairs and with Down syndrome. I'm like, okay, so just because my son doesn't wear his disability and he looks like a model, he is a model.
He is a model.
He does have a modeling contract. I didn't get offered one and I tried out. But totally. That part really got me. I was like, you are so full of shit. All of you.
So what we're saying, Target, is maybe you should train your people.
Well, here's the worst part.
Train them a little bit
Here's
better.
the worst part about it is that she goes through her whole like thing. She's like crying about it. She's posting. And I was like, you know what? I'm pissed for her. So I start posting about it, and people write me. They're like, well, maybe that guy had a bad day, or like, you know,
making excuses
for Target. Like, Target doesn't have, like, Target has an inclusion problem. They're like, or hey, by the way, I hope you didn't realize we've already canceled Target, so you shouldn't have been there to begin with. Like, whoa. We are not going to blame the victim here. Like, she had every right to be in that store. Target has every initiative in the world to train their employees to be better. And she shouldn't have had to wait for a manager. The second that happened, somebody should have been on that floor and been like, you are going, and we're going to put you on a 30-day, whatever. Like,
and they still have done nothing to make it right a year later.
No.
So here we are.
Not even a gift certificate.
Not even a gift certificate. Hey, here you
Something.
nothing.
Yeah.
Which is fine. At this point, I don't want it.
No, it's not fine. Like, it's not fine. Because the crazy thing is that I know for a fact that when Strawberry Road starts to really take off, because
it will, and
Target's going to call, and I'm going to say, fuck you.
No,
because we don't want you here.
Yeah.
Because I don't want a sponsorship from someone who is just, what you're doing is you're what was that
Placating.
word? Yeah, you're basically like, hey, we do this, but we don't actually do it at the level.
Right.
It is not okay
At the bottom level. We're just going to do this for advertising and for
exactly.
clicks
And also my daughter was there too, and she saw that go down, and she, every time we go to Target now, says, is the mean man here?
Yeah.
Is the mean man here? And we never go through that line anymore. It is completely ingrained in her brain that day. That's how bad it was.
Have you seen him since?
Oh yeah, he's still there. They didn't fire him. And one of these days, it's going to be the day. I'll probably have you ride or die walking in there with me. One of these days, he's going to say something to me, and I'm going to have it in the back pocket of exactly. He's going to have it coming.
Yeah.
Practice in the shower.
Yeah. Like, do you remember that day?
Right. I mean, like, I would hope that day,
What the
he
heck
has
is wrong
a
with
card
you?
where he's like been like, hey, the last like 2 months I've been thinking about it, and like what that wasn't. And I have no sympathy. There's no argument you're going to give me on here that I'm going to be like, okay, maybe that's right. No, it's a child. You don't talk to a child like that. You do not treat a child like that. And if you have questions, you talk to the parent, right? Like, hey, mama, are you okay? Do you need some help? Like, you do not address my child and their behavior. Like, you're there, like, absolutely zero tolerance for you yelling at any child.
Could not agree more.
Like, and if you are having a bad day, take a freaking break and go outside and go talk to a wall, because there's no world in which that makes sense to me.
No.
Go stomp like a thundercloud, which is what we talk about with Livy and Strawberry Road. Go stomp like a thundercloud in your own room, not in front of a kid.
Yeah. And I really have a hard time with understanding training too, when they're like, people need to be trained. Like, you don't need to be trained to be a kind human. Like, why do we have to train? You train
Hire
kindness.
a kind person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about that?
True.
Yeah.
Bing, light bulb moment.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I think that and that's really where kind of Strawberry Road comes in, is like, it should be the easiest thing to say, it is so cool to be kind. Like, it is just the easiest thing you can do is to say, like, River does this all the time. Hi friend. Hi friend. Hi
Love
friend.
it.
Everybody's a friend. Now, like, you're going to go through times where, like, normal human emotions, you're going to get hurt, you're going to whatever. But the first thing you enter with is kindness.
100%.
It's fail proof.
Yeah. It's fail proof.
Okay, this is one of those brands that once you switch, you literally don't go back. I also feel like it's one of those small changes that actually makes a big difference in your home, especially as a mom. I'm talking about Truly Free. And what I love is that they're all about non-toxic, safer cleaning products without all the harsh chemicals. Because let's be honest, we're constantly cleaning surfaces our kids are touching, crawling on, putting things in their mouths, all of it. You know what I'm talking about, y'all. And I feel like a lot of us grew up thinking the stronger, the cleaner, the better. I'm talking about the bleaches, the ammonias, the stuff that just burns your nose hairs. Like, everything does not need to be completely disinfected all of the time. But the reality is the super harsh cleaners like bleach don't just kill the bad stuff. They wipe out basically everything, even the harmless bacteria. And while there's definitely a time and place for that, like someone's sick with a norovirus or you're dealing with something heavy duty, it's not really necessary for everyday cleaning and can actually be more harmful to our health than good. For daily life, especially with kids and pets, using something gentler and non-toxic just makes more sense. And that's why I personally love Truly Free. It makes that swap really simple without feeling like you're sacrificing clean. They have everything too: laundry, kitchen, bathroom, so you can slowly replace what you're already using. Are you already using Truly Free? Great. Our code works for both new and existing customers, which is amazing. So you can use code TRUTHMOMS, that's TRUTHMOMS, for 30% off your entire order site-wide. Whether you're just starting to swap things out or restocking what you already love, just head to our link, shop anything on the site, and use code TRUTHMOMS for 30% off. And guys, make sure you're checking our page because they're always updating their bundles and starter kits. So if you want the latest options, you can check out our separate link for the most up-to-date deals.
But anyway, so that's my diatribe on that. I'm
We are all heated up. We're like,
Caffeine. Yeah, you're not doing caffeine, but we've had our caffeine.
And can you imagine, like, the other thing I think about is like the other parents witnessing that.
Yeah.
Like there's
Oh,
obviously
everybody looked around. It was not a fun moment.
Yeah. So I will say that if of all of this road, 4 roads, I do think I'm like, wow, Khara could not have been the more perfect parent for this, because she is not afraid to be like, excuse me. No, ma'am. No, sir.
If I were a cocktail, it'd be like equal parts like kindness and then like straight up sass and like pedal to the metal, because like I'm definitely a Scorpio in that way for sure. But it's
she's like a sweet drink, but like on the rim, it's like a spicy. You know,
I feel like I relate.
Yeah,
it's like don't
some
mess with me.
jalapenos.
Yeah. Like I'm sweet until you really mess with me, and then you don't want that side at all.
I can see it.
You can? Okay.
And it's okay.
'Cause I feel like I've become a little
thing.
soft lately, and sometimes I'm
I
like,
think it's necessary. It's needed.
No,
for sure.
it is to have a little spice.
I know. You do.
What does the future look like, right, for your family?
That's a really good question. Like, do you want to tell me? I'm like, no. You know what? I feel like if I'm giving the most honest, heartfelt response to that, it feels like we're finally in like an acceptance phase. And with that, anything goes. The world is our oyster. Literally, I am done with caring. Are you okay?
Bug just flew into my nose.
Oh my gosh. It was like, I thought you were like, I'm done with, I thought you were feeling my emotion. You're like, I'm done too, girl. You're like,
Yeah.
The pregnancy
Beyonce.
Well, it was so funny. That's the name of our season of like, we're not for everybody. We're going to talk about things that like we are not for everybody, and we could care less, because
I love that.
That is done. Done.
It was a little like sass. Like, see?
Fly in the nose. We're done.
We're done. I just think like really we're in the acceptance phase, you know, like we're 8 years into this autism journey. Rhodes is Rhodes. He's amazing. He's incredible. I used to get so scared. I'm like, oh, what's it going to be like one day? Is he going to have to live with me forever? Who cares? Honestly, I feel like a lot of parents would be grateful to have their kids never
My kid
leave.
still sleep in the bed with me.
Right.
He was like, I think we're getting to the age. I'm like, no, we're not.
No, we're not. But I'm just like, you know what I'm doing? I'm not listening to what other people think I should do with my child.
Yeah.
Autism or not, he is Rhodes.
Do what works for him.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
not
So,
what's
like,
working for another.
no.
And I think what people don't realize is that people, like you said before, will just say autism and just stick this narrative like he's like in a box.
Yeah.
But there's not two people on the spectrum. That's why it's a spectrum.
That's right.
And like you have to realize they're so individual and so unique.
Exactly.
That you can't treat them the same. You really have to. It's like a custom.
But isn't that for everybody?
It
I'm
is.
completely different than Brittany, and she's completely different than I. I
Yeah.
have blue eyes, blonde hair, brown. It's. But you know what? It's cool. If the three of us were the exact same sitting in this room, how boring? How boring would that be for the audience?
Exactly.
And that's where I start to rewrite the narrative. I am so done. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm actually in acceptance and also kind of slightly pissed off phase where
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, like I literally did all the things. All the blueberry smoothies with like raw camel's milk coming in from Morocco, like stupid stuff that I was like, this will help take care of autism. Yeah, it helped, but like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, we're loving our child. We are giving him an amazing life. He is teaching me how to be a great human and how to be an amazing person on this planet. And I think that the future is bright. I think that Rhodes is amazing. I think that he is talking minimally, but like he has all of his needs met. We understand the language. We talk. We figure it out. He has friends. He has people in his corner. He lives in an amazing city where people want to know how to help. People like you even having me here, teaching others how to be a good friend. But I just think that, I don't know, I'm not worried anymore. And I think that if I could look back 5-8 years ago and tell present day Khara, like, it's okay, chill girl, it's going to be fine. You don't know what Rose is going to look like even 10 years from now when he's 20. So like, why not just like be present
in the
and
moment.
be grateful for today?
Right.
You know?
Right. And like, here's the thing, like autism is just like when I see friends with kids that are diagnosed with Down syndrome, it's like, there is such a bright, beautiful world within there to parent that, when you get to parent that child and watch their world blossom and know that really the sky's the limit, and a diagnosis is not a death sentence.
That's right.
You know,
that's right.
Like they just need maybe a little extra love. And maybe that's what the world needs to teach better is how do we give a little extra love to those who need it? You know?
Yeah.
Or how can we find a place for them in this world that magnifies their strengths.
Yes.
Personally, I used to work for a company that actually works with autism adults on the spectrum and finds jobs for them in the corporate world. And they're here in Nashville, so I'll tell you all about it. But it was empowering, not empowering. It was just so good to be part of that organization because you see the world so differently and through their lens, where it's like they are taking their strengths and applying it, and they're doing better than a neurotypical person would do. We need more of that.
Right.
We need more of that in general.
Through different phases of life.
Right. Because there was a study, it had nothing to do with neurodivergence, but there was a study about children in class. And I think it was like in the 80s or maybe the 60s or something. But they segregated the children, and they wanted to know if a child was told these like buzzwords, like, oh, you're doing great, or you're so smart, or whatever. And they, and then another child, they would be like, you could do better, or you're not doing great, or you're bad, you're behaving badly, or whatever. And I think that what they found, right, it truly is what you say to that child, neurodivergent or neurotypical, or what you allow them to process or to be a part of, versus hiding them away and sheltering them, really develops them differently. Like every child should have a chance to have the best life possible. And it should not come down to, well, they have a diagnosis, so they can't, or they shouldn't because whatever, or if they do, they could possibly get hurt. You're like, but then would they? If I gave them that opportunity, would they? Like Rhodes can absolutely surf. Like what happens when he gets that opportunity? Is he going to be like the greatest surfer that's ever lived, And then they're just like, oh, by the way, he has autism. Like, or are we going to be like, he has autism, so he shouldn't be out in the water because, by the way, 1 in 4, it's the number one killer of kids with autism is drowning.
Yeah.
Or do we say, hey, the number one killer of kids with autism is drowning, so let's put them in swim classes that are state approved,
right? And they can be a surfer.
Right. Yeah. How do we give them more chances at better lives?
Yes. Yeah. That's a great question.
Love that.
We need to push for that for sure.
And I think that's what Strawberry Road is slowly becoming, is because because no matter what, when you go to interview Strawberry Road, or when we talk about it, or when we post about it, that the diagnosis, it isn't Rhodes has autism, is we are speaking for autism. And so no matter what, that conversation will always come back around. And hopefully what it brings to light is everybody deserves a bit of joy.
1,000%.
The last thing I will say is, let's end this on a good note. Khara, if there's one thing that you want another parent who maybe just their child got diagnosed with autism, or is kind of like in that middle phase, speak to that parent, and then we'll take it in from here.
It like gives me a lump in my throat because you go right back to it. I think I said this on the other podcast that we did, right? The thought of this diagnosis is not a death sentence. Like you said, it really isn't. The main thing that should be reminded and thought about is to slow down and just be present. Love your child. They're your child, like with or without the diagnosis, right? If you're not careful, time is going to fly by and they'll be 10. My son's going to be 10 in a couple of weeks. It goes by so fast. You can get so distracted with deep diving on the internet with what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing, how they should talk, how they shouldn't talk. Literally, there's like 1,000 different things that the world is going to tell you that your kid should or shouldn't be doing. And 3 billion different things that will make it better. It'll go away. Like your kid's going to be who they are, with or without all the extra bells and whistles. I have done so many different things, so many different, from nutrition to, chiropractic care, everything helps. It's not that I'm not saying don't do that, but I would just do it without the urgency. Do it like you would your like annual checkup or your doctor's appointment or like your dentist appointment. Like enjoy the time you have with your child, because this is your child with or without the diagnosis. They are who they are. And I just would say, like, try not to put every single thing under that umbrella of autism, because if you're not careful, that will become your identity and your kid's identity. I have literally in the last year been like, whoa, wow, this has become like so much of our identity, but we are so much more than just this journey. So slow down, enjoy your child with or without autism. They're amazing, and they're going to surprise you and do so many wonderful things. It's not a death sentence. It's a really, ironically enough, it's actually actually a beautiful journey. So just enjoy the ride, enjoy the road.
So thank you, Khara.
Thank you so
And
much.
by the
for
way,
having me.
enjoy the road and listen to Strawberry Road and hopefully start a good conversation between your neurodivergent friends, your neurotypical friends.
Yeah.
And find a way for all of us to exist because we all exist here and we all deserve to exist here and we all deserve joy.
Yeah. Let's go to Strawberry Road.
Let's go. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Truth Moms. Remember, mamas, the truth starts at home.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It really helps us reach more moms like you. And plus, it's free.
Until next time, stay strong, stay curious, and we will keep dropping those truth bombs. Bye.